I decided I was going to read everything that this genius lady puts out into the universe. Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to film this video today. I'm going to talk about all the amazing books that I got to read in 2023. And before I start with my top 10, I have some honorable mentions. These books are incredible and I really want to mention them in this video because I will not do them justice if I don't talk about them. And at the same time, I decided that I will limit myself to only top 10 books. So that's why I wanted to add an honorable mention list. I don't have a lot in this list. I have 5 books to mention in this list. So yeah, let's just get started. The first honorable mention has to go to A Curse for True Love. All this series, not just this book, the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, and you already know I have talked about it a lot in previous wrap-ups. I love these books so much. Like I said in my wrap-up, it's the new age fairy tale for me. It's the new age fairy tale epicness in a vibrant world of magical intrigue, dazzling mysteries, and tangled and forbidden romance. These books are just unputdownable, and I loved every single bit of this wonderful, amazing journey. I love being in this world and in Jackson Evangeline's story. I highly recommend. If you didn't pick them up yet, if you didn't read the Once Upon a Broken Heart series yet, highly recommend you read this. You will not regret it. So this is my first honorable mention. The second one has to go to a reread. Now I know that usually people don't do their rereads, don't talk about their rereads in their best books, because if you are rereading a book, it means that you'll love it. But I had to mention this. I reread A Court of Silver Flames, and I also reread House of Sky and Breath this year. But this book is just epic. It's a 6 stars book. It is phenomenal. I loved Nesta's journey. I love the concept of the phoenix born from the ashes. I love this story so much. And I think it's one of the best books in the ACOTAR series. And the story touched me so much. I cried with her, I laughed with her. I love this book so much. So I had to include A Court of Silver Flames in this list. And another honorable mention is also a series. I have it here. I pulled out only one book, the Magnolia Parks Universe series. Oh my god. Jessa Hastings, she just has a way with words when it comes to romance. The way she constructs the dialogue with the inner thoughts at the same time is so genius and so heartbreaking, because it happens in real life when you are talking to a loved one, when you are talking to a partner, when you are talking to a person you love. Sometimes there are things that you can't say or that you are not ready to say, and you say the opposite, or you say other things close to that idea in the hopes that they will understand. And she does that. She gives you the inner thoughts of the person, and then inside the dialogue, so you see that what she is thinking about, what she really wants to say, but she says something else, or he says something else, and it's heartbreaking to watch. And it was so eye-opening to me how sometimes we feel things that we are not ready to share, or like we just don't want to say. And sometimes it's so frustrating to read, because you're like, just say it, because it will make things better. If he knew about this, if he knew about your feelings about this matter, if he really knew how it hurt you. But you know, sometimes like self-esteem and pride and a lot of things get in the way that we don't want to seem weak. These books are absolutely epic. I love them. The relationships are toxic, at least this one. A lot of toxicity, but you will be addicted to them. I promise you. You will scream, you will be angry, you will cry, you will laugh while reading these books. and you will ask for more. Please help me more. Jessa Hastings, these are just phenomenal. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about these phenomenal books. Up next, another honorable mention. I need to mention these. The Raven Cycle. The first book being The Raven Boys. If you are looking for a friendship and also love story, they are both here, that will make you want to be a part of this group of people. The love that these characters have for each other is so heartwarming and so unique and so epic. I've never seen it before. And the paranormal vibes are immaculate in these books. You will feel like you are with them running in that town. I just love these books and I just couldn't miss out on the opportunity to mention them to you. Yeah, so this is The Raven Cycle. And my last honorable mention has to go to a book that made me laugh so hard. It was so silly, so cozy at the same time. I love this book, this series so much. I'm waiting for the March release of the 5th book. I love these books. Was it the 5th of the 4th book? Pure fun, great time, great laugh, silly, sarcastic, cozy, thriller, mystery. I just love them so much. I highly recommend you pair this with the audio. It played out like a movie in my head and I loved following Finley around. It's just a good, fun time. That's what I love about these books. You will love them too. Try the first book and I promise you, you will fall in love with these characters. Okay, that's it for my honorable mentions. Now let's start with my top 10 books for this year. I just want to mention something before we begin. All of these books, I love them so much. Especially the top 3 are so close to each other. I love these books so much. In general, I had a great reading year this year. I had fun with a lot of books. I was giving a lot of books 5 stars. I had a great reading year. I'm so happy that I stumbled upon really good books this year. So yeah, I just want to mention that all of them are great. All of them are worth your time, in my opinion. So yeah, with that being said, let's start with number 10. Let me grab it. The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. This is one of the first reads that I did in 2023. It was around the time it released when I read this book and picked it up. And what pulled me in was the uniqueness of the story. In this book, we follow Amina, and she's one of the Indian Ocean's most notorious pirates, and she just wants to retire and takes care of her daughter, but she's struck down by a very wealthy woman. She's the mother of a former crewman, and she offered her a job that she couldn't refuse. She basically had to retrieve her comrade's kidnapped daughter for a very high price. So in her head, she was like, okay, this will be a last adventure with the crew and we will be doing right, of course, by one of our old friends. And at the same time, she will be winning a fortune that will secure her family's future forever because she was struggling with money at that time. Yet the deeper she dives into this adventure, the more it becomes alarmingly clear that there was more to the girl's disappearance. And along the way, Amina starts to understand that there is always a risk in becoming a legend, to seize that last chance at glory and to savor that a bit more of power, because she didn't want history to forget about her, to forget about her adventures, to forget about her being a captain pirate. She was so badass. So she wanted to make sure that her name will not be forgotten, but she understood that this might come at a very steep price. What I recommend for this book, get the audiobook. Get the audiobook because the narrator's voice acting was spectacular. I love this book. It was extremely enjoyable and very different, and oh my god, how it was refreshing. A book that really transports you in a different part of the world. It's in the Indian Ocean and you follow along the character's journey. It was so magical, and I loved her. I loved Amina so much. I loved the crew. I loved the banter between them. It was so sarcastic and funny at times, and thrilling and adrenaline inducing at other times. I loved the roller coaster of this book. Like all the supernatural creatures, everything came together. The adventure, the betrayals, the fighting scenes, everything. It was so good, and I cannot wait to read book 2. I don't know when it will come out, but I will definitely be picking that book up. So yeah, I had to put this on my top reads of 2023. Okay, the next book is number 9. Let me put this back and pull out number 9. Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. This was one of the books that surprised me maybe the most when I read it. I didn't think that this will end up on my top reads of 2023, to be honest, but it did. It did, and I am so happy. And this is also another book that I recommend getting the audio for. Steve West is the narrator of this audio. He narrated the Atlas 6 and also Strange the Dreamer and a lot of other very popular books. Is so incredible, so phenomenal. He's so good. He's excellent at narrating this story. How he switched his voice between characters and changed the personality from character to character without ever confusing them. Like when you are hearing him, you know that's Fox de Mora, that's Death, that's Vi. You know who these people are when he's acting them, and it was so incredible to hear. I really recommend getting the audio for this. You will get most of it, and like the dialogue acting was very epic to hear. I really highly recommend, if you decide to pick this up, please get the audio. It will make your experience 100 times better. So in this book we follow Vi. She's a real estate agent and a vampire, and she's trying to sell a house that is haunted by its previous owner. His name is Tom. So she asked for the help of a medium, Fox, our main character, but these are all main characters, who is not only a fraud, but also he's the godson of Death. What can I tell you about this? This book shocked me so pleasantly, and I was so surprised by this masterpiece. This is one of my rereads of next year. During the fall season of next year, I will be 100% rereading this. This was so good. As I was saying, I was so pleasantly shocked and surprised by this book. But I was expecting, in the beginning, I was expecting that it would be a dark, witchy, gothic thriller, a bit scary, a lot of like jump scares or like something that happens and you're like shocked. I mean, you get shocked, but in a different way. But what I ended up getting, it was like a mess of like supernatural creatures. Every type of supernatural creature that you can think about. They get together in a very weird circumstances, very weird way that just managed to crack me up every single chapter. And as I said, you get gods, you get deities from every mythology you can think of, all the creatures you can think of, and they come together in this unique package of wittiness and thrilling fun time. And this just made me laugh out loud from the first chapter, and I remember that first chapter very well. And from the first page, I couldn't put it down. Okay, this is going to be 5 stars for me. And it was. The banter between this group of characters is so epic, and the humor is beyond superior. The discussions about mortality and immortality and like the point of it all, why are we all here? It's so intriguing and smart. And what can I say more? I just loved this book so much. Highly recommend it. And this is what made me had to put this book on this list. Okay, next up, another book. I have it right here. I think this will make the lists of a lot of people this year. Divine Rivals coming up at number 8. If you didn't hear about this book, this is a YA historical fantasy romance. We follow Iris and Rowan, and they are competing for the same position in a journal. And essentially the story has the secret correspondent trope and the rivals to lovers, and the story is just fascinating and thought-provoking. The characters will steal your heart and then break it. Brace yourself. Also, the subjects and feelings that are underlined and dealt with in this book, like war, loss of loved ones, grief, pain, guilt. This book was not just an emotional roller coaster, it was just so delicious to read, and it is impossible not to fall in love with their love story. And I highly recommend you pick this up. The sequel and finale is coming out pretty soon, so you will have a finished duology to read, and I hope the second book is as good as the first one, because oh my god, this was so satisfying to read. Up next, number 7. Let me put this back. I raved about this book so much, so I think you'll not be surprised. A Kiss of Iron and also the second book, A Touch of Poison. So these are the first 2 books in the series. I have my full thoughts on this book in my September wrap-up, and in my November wrap-up you will find the second book review, A Touch of Poison. I love this book and the second book equally. It made me tear up multiple times. My heart ached for Kat when she was dealing with misogynistic men her whole life. I was rooting for her and Bastien from the beginning, and I love Bastien so much. He's the embodiment of I dare you touch her, I dare you lay your hands on her, and all the body positivity and the shadow play. Of course, I need to mention that. Oh my god. That's all I'm going to say about that. He's just so swoon-worthy and alluring, and the chemistry between them is undeniable. And I appreciated the character development in book 2. They both had an amazing character development, and also they both groveled, and it was epic to see. I just enjoyed these books so much, and that earned them a place on my top 2023 reads. Yeah, I highly recommend these 2. Next up, it's a series. I have it right here. The Bargainer series by Laura Thalassa. Not a lot of people are talking about these books. These books are amazing. These are phenomenal. Okay, what can I say about these? It's an urban fantasy romance, and it goes back and forth between our world and the Fae world. And Desmond and Calypso, the 2 main characters in these books, they have a rich and sensuous and angsty romance, and they are so unique, and the story will just suck you in, and the dialogue will make you laugh a lot. I love these books so much, and I cannot wait to reread them. I already ordered the Arcane special edition set of these books, and I cannot wait to reread them from those books. I highly recommend the Bargainer series. It was an epic love story, and I'm 100% sure that you will fall in love with them. I know that last year, I think it was more popular last year, but the hype has died a little bit, and I decided to bring the hype back. These deserve all the hype. If you didn't pick them up, if you are looking for a fantasy romance that will steal your heart, I promise you Desmond and Calypso will do just that. So yeah, the Bargainer series at number 6. Okay, coming up at number 5, this was a book that I received from a Fairyloot monthly box, and it shocked me. And I already talked about it, of course, in my review, and I already expressed how pleasantly surprised I was with this book. It was Bonesmith. This book made it to my top 5. This is number 5. It's an exceptional YA fantasy. This blew my mind. It blew my mind. You can watch my whole review in detail about this in my October wrap up. But oh my god, the world building was so creepy and atmospheric. And Ren, our main female character, she's a Valkyr. She fights ghosts so she can sever the connection between the ghost and the bone, basically to let the ghosts rest and pass to the other side. She's very tough, noble. Her determination will steal your heart, and the plot is a conspiracy plot brimming with epic adventures and kick-ass characters. I will not tell you more about all the other amazing characters that you meet because I don't want to ruin the twist for you, but oh my god, you need to pick this up. And I heard that this will only be a duology. I'm very sad about that. I hope that at least the author would write some spin-off in this world because I think the world has a lot of potential to write more books in it. And I really do hope she does that. This was an excellent book. Highly recommend Bonesmith. Okay, coming up at number 4. These Infinite Threads by Tahira Mafi. This is the second book in this Woven Kingdom series. It's a YA fantasy. And what can I say? This is so different. The world building, the magic system, the smart, witty characters, everything about these books that I read, this one and the first book, this Woven Kingdom, is so unique. That's why these books made it to this list. All these books were so different from each other, yet so unique and excellent in their own way, and that's why I chose them. This is no exception. It's so unique. This series is a gem, and I need more people to read it and talk about it because you are missing out. I was so surprised by reading this, and you will never guess what happens next with these characters. And this second book made me speechless. I was in awe. I really didn't want it to end. The romance will rip your heart, and the clever humor is again so unique. What can I say more? Oh my god. Read these books. That's all I'm going to say. The third book, it's not the finale. The third book, All This Twisted Glory, is coming out, I think, at the beginning of February. And I cannot wait to reread this one so I can dive into that one because this one was also... What can I say? I don't wanna say anything spoilery because this book has a special place in my heart. Please give them a chance and read them. I know that Shatter Me is very popular by Tahira Mafi, but this is very different from Shatter Me. But if you loved how she writes romance, you will love these books and everything, the fantasy elements, the characters, how she built them, everything is so excellent with this one too. I highly recommend it. Okay, coming up at number 3, and as I said, my top 3 are so close to each other. All of them are excellent. All of them, I enjoyed them so much. And the third spot went to the Crowns of Nyaxia series, the Nightborn Duet duology, The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. Oh my god. I will read anything by Carissa Broadbent. Anything she puts out. Since I read her first series, The War of Lost Hearts, I have it there. And I mentioned that series when I was, I think, doing my bookshelf tour. I mentioned how much I loved, that was my top read for last year. And when I loved that series and fell in love not only with Tisana and Max, but also with the whole cast of character, oh my god, it was huge, it was phenomenal. I decided I was going to read everything that this genius lady puts out into the universe, and The Crowns of Nyaxia did not disappoint. Even the novel was phenomenal. Six Scorched Roses was phenomenal. Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, I'm so hyped to read that book, but I didn't read it yet. If you want a scorching romance with a dynamic that is fire and clashing steel and a unique, heart-wrenching father-daughter relationship, you will fall in love with these books. I highly, highly recommend, if you didn't read them yet, pick them up right now. Okay, my second spot, a lot of you will be surprised because you will think that I would put these in the first spot, but I read a book in December and I just couldn't not put it in the first spot. So that book pushed these to the second spot. Fourth Wing and Fear the Flames. They are so close to each other. As I said, these can be the first books too, as of The Crowns of Nyaxia. And these are together. As I said, if you love this book, read this book. If you love this book, read this book. If you didn't read any of these yet, please read them. Fourth Wing, what can I say? I already rambled about this a lot. I don't know if I can say something that I didn't already mention in my reviews. This is pure dragon epicness, sassiness, phenomenal banter, and an exquisite romance that will make you swoon. These dragons and characters snuck up on me and stole my heart, and I love this so much. Equally, Fear the Flames. I honestly cannot wait for book 2, and I'm so happy that it got picked by a publisher because I think the author really deserves it. This is an excellent book. And this world and these characters have a lot of potential. The found family will make you want to be a part of the band of thieves, and the romance will steal your heart. I loved every single bit of this epic adventure, and I highly recommend you pick this up. And now for my top read of 2023. This book just had to be up there. No other option for this. The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. What can I say? Holy cow, V.E. Schwab has done it again. This book for me is, you know, when the legends reunite, this is it for me. This is what means to have legends reunite in one amazing story. V.E. Schwab's writing is so phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. She's a master in the way she introduces new characters and sneakily makes you care about them and root for them, and how she weaves the plot between past and present so effortlessly is mind-blowing to me. It's like I have never left the Shades of Magic series. It's like I've never left those characters. She's a master at her craft, and it's an absolute bliss and joy to be able to read her seamless, beautiful writing. I have so much appreciation and treasuring and awe towards her writing. She's just out of this world. Incredible. I kid you not, I had literal tears in my eyes when I was nearing the end of the book, because I knew the book is coming to an end and I will have to wait until next year or the next one when it will come out. This is how much I love this book. If you didn't read this book yet, you cannot start with it. You have to read the Darker Shades of Magic series first, the 3 books in that series, and then you can read this one. I highly recommend you read these books so you can understand what I'm talking about. She's so exceptional. And yeah, those were my top reads for 2023. If you made it this far, leave me the star emoji and tell me about the best books you read in 2023. And if you like the video, please subscribe so we can become book besties, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!